So basically, we have started with the database topic, and among that, we have understood why we need a database, why database is needed, and from that we have understood the all important concept related to database, why it is needed, every software, and how the data is stored. And from that view, one thing we understood that the database is nothing but a collection of data. So this is a kind of database. And in database, the data is stored in the form of tables. Okay. So the basically the two part we have done. The first one, database creation. Firstly, we have installation steps are done. Right. We have seen all the installation steps. Even we can verify your installation step as well. Why it is not installing, what is the issue. Okay. And we have created a database, that is DB creation. Now, once the database is created, the next job is to be create a table. Table. Okay. So now today we are going to see the concept how to create a table in that database. I have already created database yesterday. You already know that after installation, this page, this window will be get open. Click on server, and there is a database are there. For creating a new database, you have to just right click it, create a database options. Yesterday, you already created the name of the database, it's school. You can go here, the school is database. After clicking on that, there is an option called schemas. Within that schemas, you can see the tables are there. You can simply right click it and select query tools. And all queries you should type here for every query. So I can use the give the comment that QUER query will be here. Okay. Now understand the some scenario or the important points related to the table creations. Okay. So for table creation, it simply means before creating a tables, we need to decide what kind of data we want to store in our tables. Okay. Because database is going to store the data, but what data you want to store? Either student result data you are going to store, you are storing a contact data, you are storing a registration data. So let assume that I want to store some basic detail, that is a contact information. Okay. Contact info I want to store. So we can give the table name as a contact then. Okay. I'll give the table name as a contact. Fine. Then what kind of field we are going to store in the contact table? So for example, assume that I want to store the name, I want to store email, I want to store mobile number, I want to store their age, I want to store the city where he live, I want to store the gender as well. Okay. So this many detail I want to store in this table. Okay. So once you decided the what kind of information you are going to store in the database, then you are going to start your storing data. Hello. Yes. Is there any issue? Am I audible properly? Hello. Right. So before creating a database, you must have the clear idea what kind of data you are going to store. Like I want to store the contact information, which include name, email, phone number, and all that things. Perfect. So let's check now, okay, like how to create a table, what is the syntax, how to write an SQL query, and all that things. Okay. So before going for writing an SQL query, if you want to store the name, then age, then city, then for creating a table, there is a syntax of create tables. But before that, we'll see some basic SQL data types. SQL data types. It is most similar likely in programming terms also. If you want to store the number value, you can use an integer. But apart from this, if you want to store a float, there is a float is also there. But if you want to store a string and all the combination of that, there is a concept called varchar is a type. Varchar is a type for storing string plus number combinations. Okay. And the max size of varchar is 255. Okay. You can store maximum 255 character with the help of varchar types. So these are the basic type that we are going to store, that we are going to use while storing data. Okay. And two more concept we need to understand while creating a tables. So let me clarify you that first. And that are nothing but the first one, the concept is every table have one ID that is that is uniquely identified, and it is generated automatically. That ID is known as a primary key. Primary key. Okay. Every table must have their primary key because it's your unique identity. Otherwise, in data there are thousands of records are get stored. But how you are going to separately identify, uniquely identify? So the unique identification, you need some IDs. Like every software system have a ID. Your bank have your bank account numbers. Okay, in school you have a roll number. While giving an exam, you have exam seat numbers. And that seat number, roll number is never get repeated. But if you just try to identify with your names, it may happen that that same name persons or many persons are available. So that's why one ID should every system should have. And that's why every table must contain one ID, and that is nothing but your primary key. Okay. There are two things available in the table. Either primary key is also there and unique key also there. If you see this table, there are two unique keys there. One is an email and one is mobile. How are you going to identify the unique key? The unique key is some kind of key which never get repeated. If you see that the mobile number is never get repeats, email is never get repeats. In similar manner, the primary key is also not get repeated. Okay. So while creating a table, you must create the one primary key with specific ID. Okay. So now let check the syntax for creating a table. How to create a table. I will write the query here, SQL query for creating syntax table. Create 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 table. Table name is what? Contact. Okay. Create table contact round brackets. Firstly, we want one primary key. So that's why I'm giving ID serial. The serial means it is a kind of integer value and it is a primary key as well. ID integer serial, I'm writing here primary key. First field is generated and it is automatically get inserted. There is no need to insert manually. Okay. Second type is email. So email, what kind of data it is? Varchar. And email size should be like around 100. This 100. Or initially you can say the name you have, a name. So like that, if you write a number of tables, column names, ID serial, name, varchar, mobile varchar, and if you want to store age, that is an integer, okay, like this. Based on the number of field, you have to keep on increasing this. And after done, you can just execute the query. The table will be get created. So let's try to implement it practically. Syntax is create table and the table name. So I'm writing here create, CREAT, create TABL, create table contact, then the round bracket, okay, ID serial, and it is your primary key. Second, we have name, that is your var char 50. Okay, the max size is 255, but the name is not that much greater, no, always. Suresh, Ramesh, Sham, Pramojot, Yashvi, RV. So it's say 7 to 8 digit, but max to max they have some big names, so that's why getting a 50. Then after that, there is an email. So email, I will take it as a varchar. Similar manner, you can keep on creating your table, varchar and all that. Yes, perfect. Okay. Then we have mobile number as well. So let me take a directly mobile number. Make it simple. The mobile number, how many digits is needed? Only 10. So let it take it 10. Then we have age. So writing age integer. Then we have city. So let take city var char 50. The last one is gender. Gender. Gender size is 50. Or male, female, you can write just 8 to 15. So this is syntax of creating a table. So let's select it, and there is an option this refresh or execute. Okay, there is a problem. Okay, I'm not giving a varchar, VARCHAR. You can keep on this window message. If you have any error, it will show error here. So now execute it. Perfect. So it giving written successfully. That means our table is get created because in the database all the records are stored in the form of table. Now if I want to check the structure of tables, for that there is the syntax select star. The meaning of star here, all the field. Star means all the field from that particular table. Select all field from where? From the contact table. See, you can see there is a table structure is get created. Name, mobile number, age, city, and the gender. In the same way, whenever you are doing registration at any software or the websites, there is in the backend, there is always this kind of table is there. Okay. So let me show you something. For example, Gmail account. I have already have account, but I just wanted to show you some form. Huh. Or you can check the Facebook. I have already log in. Let me log out it first. So what I want to try to show you, just try to understand. Whenever you are filling any forms and any data, always remember in the background there is a table is exist. For example, I'm do the logout. Let it log out. You understood this is a syntax of creating tables. Okay. whenever we want to create any software, see now if you go here create account, if you see while creating a Facebook account, they need some data like your first name, last name, that gender, male, female, mobile number, and the password. So that means whenever you are clicking on signups, your data is get stored in the Facebook database. In there is a Facebook database, there is a kind of table where your data is stored in the form of tables. Okay. So that means their table must contain these columns: first name, surname, date of birth, genders, mobile number, email. Likewise, we are now we want to store a data like a name, mobile number, age, city, and the gender. You understood the importance of tables? Because whatever the data you want to store, you have to create database first, and within that database, what kind of data and how many data you want to store, that data, for storing that data you need to create a table with the same field and the data types, then only it table will understand. Yes. Where, see there is this is, we are working in the back end database creation. Okay, just writing this, the data is not going to store automatically. Okay,
Okay.
firstly we need to create a database, we need to create the table. So this is our back end work, right? Like in
Yes.
like very first lecture I have saved, I think I shared with you the structure. You may remember that. Let me store you once again. The client server architecture kind of things, right? Where it is. See this. Okay. So, like if you
Yes.
remember, if we are now working on database. So in the database, we are creating a table. Okay. So that means we in the database, there is a table structure. Now, in this table structure, the data will come from this front end like this. In the similar manner, the Facebook database, they have already created a database with this field, having this field with the tables. Okay. So that means there is a database and which database have some tables and which tables have this kind of field. Now, if I enter all the data and click on this signups, if I enter all the data and click on this save, this request is goes to the some server side scripting, not directly into the database. Okay. And after this server will decide which database, which table, what kind of value, how to insert, and then only going to insert the value in the database. Okay. Now we are just working this part, database part. Okay. Then we are going to work with this part and this part. So, but just writing this table structure, it isn't halfway up done. So, okay, we are just creating an empty tables. All the transactions should be happen from the front end. But we are going to use this table as of now for inserting, updating, deleting. And once we connect with the front end, then automatically transaction will be happened. You got it? Table creation syntax, and this is a table creation. Perfect. Okay,
Yes, sir.
fine. Now I'll just use one more syntax, that is for inserting record. Click how data is get insert into tables. For inserting a data into a table, there is a syntax. That query is always execute on whenever you're clicking on sign up button, save button, login buttons. Okay. After clicking on this, that query will be get executed. So what query execute while registering, while logging, and everywhere? So that query is nothing but insert into which table? Contact table. And contact table, what field it have? It having name is there, comma, mobile is there, age is there, city we have, then gender, gender. Okay. ID is automatically inserted and automatically incremented by one. Okay. So after that, we can use values. As of now, we are directly working with the database. So I can directly store a data like this. Next, I'm storing the SURESS. But whenever you're going to connect with its front end technology, this text field value is going to store into a database. Likewise, in we have created like AWT swing forms. After clicking on button, we are getting the value from the text field, right? Get text dot to string and all that thing. So that value is
Yes.
going to store into this values part. As of now, just for testing, we are inserting a direct value. Whenever you are going to connect with the front end technology, we can add that form value or the console value. Second field is of mobile. And one more thing, remember, whenever there is a varchar, so varchar data is stored in the single quotes. And if it is a number, you can store directly numbers. 70453. Second field, then after that we have in age. Age is a number, so store directly number. Then we have city, Nasik, and then we have gender. So let me write as MALE. Right? So insert. See, one record is inserted. Now, if you again go here and select the information from the contact table, you can able to find it out. There is one record is inserted. Okay. So this is what the process is happen whenever clicking on something register button, contact button, all that thing. Okay. And this, if our software is live, then worldwide anyone can store data from the any location. All the data are comes at center locations. Okay. So this is what the power. If is there whenever you can see that is there any kind of event is happening here. So the event always have registrations. And even though while in entry gate they are verifying you are the already registered or not. Okay. Maybe some in many event they are giving you a band or they are giving you the QR code or barcode and they are verifying by scanning the barcode. So that barcode is nothing but some kind of ID and that verify whether your ID is exist in the database or not. If yes, then you are authorized. If not, unauthorized. Okay. So this is how the software works. So we are at very basic stage we are working. We are just try to understand what is a database. So database is a kind of storage, but it's stored in the data. It store data in the form of tables. And for creating a table, this is a syntax. Then moreover, what will happen? The some fields are extra, some fields are less. Okay. So you can create a database and create a table the way the number of data you want to store and inserting data. This is a syntax and it is for simple selection. You can insert multiple data. So let me add your data here. I will add a Sonu here. Some different number is there. Geez, not this. Let me store some age, city, for example, Pune, and she is a female. Okay. If I insert again, always select the query which you want to execute. See, now if you are going to select this, so this data is getting inserted. Okay, it is keep on inserting data. Our first priority is to create a database, create a table, and keep on inserting multiple values. Once we have a good data set, then we can execute multiple kind of select query. Like I want to all the names from the Pune city. I want name from the Nasik city. Then I want the person whose age is greater than 18. I want only female candidate. I want only male candidates. Means there are different filtrations should be get applied once you have a data in your tables. Okay. So now this is your highest priority to install the software first and then create at least a database, then table, then insert operations. Okay. So now you can